Hey there, folks, and welcome. My name is Josh, and I am an event planner here with the Orange County Library. I just wanted to come on before the event to say thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate you. Tonight, we are going to be making Piggy Bombao with Roda. If you haven't been to one of Ha's events in the past, welcome. You're in for a real treat. It's going to be a blast. If you saw the pictures, they are adorable, and I cannot wait to show them off. But just to let you guys know, we will be doing a little Q&A towards the end of the session. So if you'd like to, please post any questions you have in the comments, either from YouTube or Facebook, and we will get to those in when it's time. But without any further ado, I would like to bring on Ha to the stream. Ha, how are you doing today?
I am good, thank you. How are you?
I am excellent. Thank you so much for coming out today. I'm excited is an understatement for this. I'm really, it's gonna be a
Too.
blast.
I'm like all day today. I'm just like planning this and that. I can't wait to do this and share this. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, here we go.
we've got some great stuff ahead. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Ha, I'm going to pass it off to you. And if you need me for anything, just let me know. But I'll be right off the stream.
All right, thank you, Josh.
Bye.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome. So we are going to make some yummy bun bao today. Bun bao is the steamed buns, Vietnamese version of steamed buns. So first of all, this takes about 2 hours to make, but we're gonna shorten everything to make into 1 hour. And so what I've done is I've prepared certain things beforehand. Um, if you some of you who are familiar with bun bao, it is a steam buns where there's the covering like the cake part, but doesn't taste like cake. It's kind of chewy and very yummy. I don't know how to describe it, but it's the outside and then the inside, which is the filling, and that could be meat or it could be vegetarian. Either way, and today we're going to do the meat version. But what I wanted to share is that we're going to do a quick version of the meat, just the final portion. Otherwise, it's going to take longer. And I'll share with you the ingredients that you'll be using in the last section of the meat so that you know what to do. And then the bulk of the demonstration will be how to process the flour and make the outside and make the look into the pig. Okay, so this is a lot of fun. And plus, this recipe I've actually gotten from YouTube from a Vietnamese cook who wrote this, who put this together. I compare a lot of banh bao. So they put it together. And this one I like because the inside was good and the outside was also good. So, but the thing that they didn't do is the piggy part. So I kind of conform it to me. So I translate that into English, from Vietnamese to English, and I put my own little recipe together to share with you. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start. We're going to do the meat first. First of all, I'm going to actually heat up my water and start. And let's go ahead, Josh, and if you can share the main screen. Yes, that one. Well, the ingredients that we see we're going to use for the meat, we're going to have the meat, of course, any ground meat that you would like. I usually use ground chicken or ground pork or ground turkey. My favorite is turkey or chicken. Pork is the best, of course, it's the most tastiest. However, I try to stay away. Too much pork is not good for you, right? So we also add glass noodles, and also we also add mushrooms, and these are dry mushrooms that we use. And so right there, what we have to do is we have to soak them because they're dry. So let me see. Can you bring me back to the big screen on the table, Josh, so I can share what it looks like in terms of the mushrooms? This is the package right here. Can you see that? So the mushroom itself is in a package, it's dry, and it's cut up into like little strands. They also come with the bigger version in bigger. But I like the strands one because I don't have to chop them up. It's already chopped up for you. And what you need to do is just soak these in warm to hot water. You don't need to be scalding hot because you don't want to burn your fingers. And then the other one, the noodles, which is the dry noodles right here. You can see it's the glass noodle, or they call it mung bean noodles, or the bean thread noodles, or the glass noodle, clear noodle, different names. Okay, so go ahead and go back to the picture again, Josh. So you soak into water and then let it sit for 5-10 minutes, and it will soften. So you don't have to worry about that. Just put it aside, and then you start chopping up your onions. Okay, so now we go to the next photo where we will process your eggs and your sausage. And then the sausage itself is actually the Chinese sausage. Let me see if I can get that. Let me show a version of the Chinese sausage so you know what to look for. Okay, Josh, go ahead and see right here. I've already used most of mine. This is the label that I use. There's different kinds, and it is almost like it reminds me of beef jerky or pork jerky, and the sausage looks like this, like the little links right here. It's not your traditional sausage that you recognize. It's dry in texture, but you need to refrigerate it because it's meat. You don't want it to go moldy or go bad. But that's what it looks like. Okay, so you cut them up, and then that is what that looks like. And there's special directions I will share with you. Those are optional that you can do on the chopping up, and the little secrets that I want to share with you to make it even taste better and easier and more effective for you to use. Okay, so go ahead and water and boil the water, and then put the sausage in. And then you cook it for 5 minutes or until the sausage starts to float onto the water. It starts floating. So now I'm going to actually pan fry my sausage. And it's very quick. And easy. So you just pan fry it. And what it does to this is it tightens up the skin. And it makes the skin, you could turn down, it doesn't have to be hot. I have it hot pretty much. You can make it down a little bit lower like that. That's fine too. And the process, what it does, it's tighten up the skin of the sausage, and it makes the sausage very crunchy. It gives another texture to the sausage. And then by doing this, it also dries up the sausage as well. And Asian sausage, I don't know if American sausage has this, but sometimes they dye the sausage, so you get some dye color and chemicals and stuff. When you boiled it, it kind of clean it out somewhat. So this helps the dye and pull out the chemicals and stuff from the sausage, and it dries it out. Once we boil it, that cleans it out, and then we pan fried it. And the pan frying process, like I mentioned before, it tightens up the skin. So that's pretty neat. And it makes it really crunchy and tastier, for sure. So, but then you pan fry it until the skin looks darker, because in the beginning it looks kind of lighter because we boiled it. And then it actually puffs up a little bit. The skin, the sausage expands. And the flavor it's more flavorful when you do this to the sausages. And you can apply and do this to everything. When you eat, when you make your own sausage, you can try that out too. And any type of sausage. This particular sausage is Vietnamese lạp xưởng, called lạp xưởng. It's Chinese sausage. And it's usually it's dehydrated. So it's not like your American sausage. It's slightly sweet. in flavor, and it's different. Reminds me of jerky. That's what it reminds me of, jerky. But when you cook it like this, it tastes even better. It has a crunchy flavor to it, and it just tastes better, I think. Okay, I think that's good enough. And then we take it out, and then we're gonna chop into small pieces. Okay, so great, Josh. So the next one, can we go ahead and show the egg video too?
I
Okay, so this is
place
how
the
to cut the
bread
egg.
onto the egg, and it's nice. There's a trick. I'm gonna slice it. You cut it nice and cleanly. We're doing 4 pieces. So I'm going to cut again, one more time. I'm going to press on it and pull through. It's nice and clean cut. Easier than a knife. You hold on to the egg so it won't fall out. So voila, it breaks into 4. Okay, so let's try that again. Another time. Okay, one more time. And I'll do again, piece of string. And then we place it kind of evenly so that it will be nice and even as much as you can. And then pull through. And then do the same across. Okay, same thing. And you have open up 4 ways, just like that. One more. Voila. Okay.
Okay, great. So now that's what it looks like once you have it cut and the sausage are chopped up just like that. And then go ahead and that's where you mix them all into the meat with the noodles and the mushrooms and the sausages. So, and then from there, what you do is you put it into, you start proportion it. So I usually make this batch that we're making. I make 16 bánh bao. So I divide it into 16 portions or 16 meatballs. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Can you go to the big table? Okay, so what I have here is I've already make these into the sauce, the meatballs, right? I've already stuffed most of it. I left 3 left so that I can show you what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. So what I did is I prepped this with what you saw earlier. I mix it really well with all the ingredients, including we add salt, we add the onions, and then we add a little bit of sugar and black pepper as well to it. And then so can you see? Punch a hole in there. And this particular one, I'm using quail egg. So this is what quail eggs look like, the tiny little eggs. So they're so cute. So I put that in here. And then I just go ahead and put them together and use my whole hand and make into a ball. The purpose is to cover up the egg so the egg won't fall out. Okay, and what we want to do is we're going to steam the meat. While we're steaming them, we'll start processing the flour so that you can see all the whole process with everything in it. So this is what the meatball looks like. That's going to go right into the bun. Okay, and then let's do 2 more. So you can see the whole process. I have a little bit extra. The quail egg that I got, it's at an Asian store. I'm sure you probably can get it at Whole Foods or Trader Joe. I don't know if Publix will have it. They may, but Whole Foods may have it, but Asian stores will have it as well. So I make into the ball just like that. You can see the sausage right there sticking here, and then a little bit of noodles and mushroom. Now you can substitute different things for them. This is not like you have to have these mushrooms. You can use satake mushrooms. You can take out the mushroom. You can replace the egg with, regular egg, whatever you want that you like that you can add in here. You don't have to have the noodles. The noodles are not a must. Everything is optional. Depends on what you like and the flavors that you want your bánh bao to be. Okay, so that's it. So now I'm turning on my stove and start steaming them. Washing my hands. Okay? So I'm turning on my steamer. I'm gonna bring this, let me see, bring it over so I can show you. Can you see it? There we go. I'm trying to figure out what you can see. And then I just close it with the lid. And then I'll put a timer for 20 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to start making the bánh bao, which is much more, a little bit more fun. Okay, so I have a little scale. Go ahead and start putting onto the table. Okay, so now this is my mixing bowl. If you have a what do you call that? A mixer, a dough mixer, that works a lot better because it makes it faster for you. And so what I'm using is right now is my dough mixer. First of all, it calls for 4 cups of flour. Let me see. Where's my cup here? So I'm going to do the whole process so you can see it from scratch. So 4 cups of flour right here into this. I wonder if I should measure it out to make it even faster, but I wanted to show you everything so that way you can see all my mistakes and all my all my little quirks. So it's not always perfect, or the mess that I would make along the way. What happened this past week is I broke my cup. You see the handle? The handle's broken. So that's okay. It still works. 2 and then 3. And one more is 4. And also with this, it is, oh, you know what I forgot to do is take out the milk to let it sit at room temperature. What we need to do is also have milk. This is 4 cups of flour. Okay. And put that aside. Okay, next we have is Tapioca Starch, which is this right here. Let me show it to you. Tapioca Starch. You can buy this at a Asian store. I believe you may be able to take it a wholesale as well, but I'm not sure. not wholesale, Whole Foods. Okay, so you will need 1 cup of tapioca starch. Okay. So you can hear, I don't know if you can hear my steamer in the background. It is making a little bit of a noise. It is steaming. I want it to, oh, see my little boo-boo. I've already making a mistake and I made a mess. I think I put too much now. Let's see. That's too much. Okay, so this is, that happened. I'm trying to not make a mess and I made it worse. Sorry, there you go. Okay, so that is done, and then we get a 1/2 cup of sugar. Okay. Quarter, 2/4 makes 1/2. Okay. All right, next we have salt, 1 teaspoon salt, and I use my salt here. That's enough. All right. And we have 2.5 teaspoons of yeast and 2.5 baking powder. So here's my baking powder. I like this one because it gives me the little, like a little knife. Straighten it out. 2.5. And we have yeast, 2.5 of yeast. There was, during COVID, a lot of people start to make bread. And what happened was there was a shortage of yeast. And I couldn't buy any from the store. So I end up buying a bulk. So I end up buying this huge thing, a whole pound of yeast. So now I have a lot. So we have 2.5 teaspoons of yeast. Two and a half. Okay, so we're done with the yeast. All right, so next we have is Crisco shortening. It's the shortening is we need 4 tablespoons of shortening. And the yeast, we want fast-acting yeast. And the baking powder, it's a double-acting baking powder. Those two are easy to find at any store, so you're good to easy find. but the starch, the tapioca starch, is a little bit more harder to find. So here is the Crisco, which is this. Okay. So we need 4 tablespoons. One, two, three, and 4. Okay, there you go. All right, and then the next thing we need is the liquid, which is 3/4 of cup of fresh milk. So I'm going to pour in 3 of these, 1/4 cup. 1, 2, 3. Okay. With that, I'm going to start mixing it up, and a quick mix, but then I'm going to transfer it into my little dough mixer. So what I'll do is I'm going to actually bring my camera over there so you can see what it looks like once the mixing starts, okay? Hang on. So right now, I'm not adding any water just yet. Well, actually, I can. I add a little bit of water. The water, it's about 300 milliliter, 1 1/4 cup of water. However, it depends on how much flour you have altogether. So you want to add the water slowly at a time. So that way you don't want to make it too wet and you don't want it too dry. So you want to control the amount of water. So you want to put a little bit at a time. Let me see if I can scoop that and have it a little bit into the camera so you can see the dough. This is helpful, but you can do it by hand too. It just takes a little longer with by hand. So I'm adding a little bit of water, maybe half of my water right now. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it on. Oops, hang on, and raise my thing up. There we go. So it's mixing. It doesn't take too long. The thing is, I wanted to make sure the flour is being mixed mostly first before I turn it up too high. I'm putting it at the low level, like about 1 or 2. I'm gonna bring it up to 2 now. Can you see that okay? Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more water because they're starting to pick up the flour. But I'm not putting the whole thing in. I'm not putting all my water in yet. I put in this is about 1 1/4 cup of water. So I may not use the full 1/4, 1 1/4. So we'll see. Now I'm going to turn it all the way up. I need to add a little bit more because it's dry. Let me see if I can show you the inside of it. So I'm going to add a little bit more water to it, okay? Okay, I'm adding a little bit more water to it. You can see it being wet, so I don't think I want to add any more water. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop my dough mixer for a moment to mix it up before I continue. It seems a little wet, so I wanted to mix it up. I haven't even added all my water yet, so that is probably a lot more water than it maybe need. So I'm trying to see if there's the bottom of the dough. It may not mix in yet. I want the bottom of the dough to mix in as well. So I'm using a spoon to mix it up. Okay, here we go. We're gonna do it again. I'm gonna bring this up into, and I fold it into my hook. I fold the flour into my hook so that my hook will pick it up and start kneading it for me. And that's the idea. And when it does this, and it has Crisco, the shortening, so it helps it with the stickiness too. So with this, if you make it too wet, you can add a little bit more flour. I turn it up to number 4, which is the speed that I use. So now you can see it become clump together. That's what you want it to do. You want it to clump. Okay, you can see I'm going to take it out and I'm going to turn it off. So the high is number 4, but if you can, let me see if I can move it out and show it to you. that. There we go. That I need to take that. I don't know if you can see this. It shouldn't be sticking so much. Can you see the dough? It's hard to see the dough. I'll take it out of the. So first of all, I'm going to put a little bit of flour on top of my surface to prevent some stickiness. So this time I think I add a little bit too much water. Even though I didn't add all my water. So you can see it's pretty sticky. It is wet. So what you could do is add more flour to it. This is good so that you can see what it looks like when it's totally wet and what you can do to resolve it. But you can see how stretchy it is, the stretchiness of the flour, of the dough. The dough is pretty stretchy. But look how it come up. Okay, so you can hear the 20 minutes is up on the meat. I'm going to turn that off actually. But my hands are doughy, filled with dough. So turn it off. Okay, let that cool. So it shouldn't be this sticky. My flour is a little wet, but you can add more flour to help dry up the flour. But add a little bit more flour to help with the stickiness. Which is good because then you guys can see what it looks like. Okay, so that's how it works out. This is how the stickiness come out. So now, meanwhile, I'm going to take the meat out. I'm going to leave this here for now. I'm going to take the meat out so we can let it cool because we're going to stuff it, but we need it cool before we can stuff it. The main reason why I'm steaming it first instead of cooking it is because it comes out a lot of water. Let me see if I can get something very hot. Okay, so I'll show it to you. This is what it looks like. Okay, and I'm going to put it aside and let it cool. So meanwhile, we're going to work on the dough. And I use a scale to help me with the dough. First, let's see how big this is. Let's see. I think it's about, I'm going to split it into two. And I want to tear this out. So we're going to make into six balls. Okay, 16, I'm sorry, 16 balls. So I split into two, and I'm going to split into two again. And then split into two. So now we have 4. Okay, and then we split again into 2, which now we have 8. And then we split again. Okay, and now we split from that 8, each of these, into 2 again. So we have 16 total. So this is about an estimate. Just to make it more accurate, that's why I bring the scale into place. The scale comes in. Okay. It is sticky. So here we go. With this here, my family. I don't know if you can hear. Okay. So here we go. 16. So what I'll do is I'm going to weigh it. It's probably going to be like 80 grams. I use grams instead of ounce because then um hey, so 80 ounce right here. So that's 87. And what I want to do is 16 pieces, but there's an extra piece of dough because that's what we're going to make with the snout and all the other uh, the ears of the pig. Okay, so right now at 76, you probably can't see that. 65. So these I need to increase. It's uneven. Kind of guesstimate. Guesstimate. So I wanted to make sure it's 80 all around or around there or close to. This one's 88. So this is the lengthy part, is just to make sure they're evenly distributed and so that we can have enough for the snout and the head, for the ear. So it's good to have a scale. Okay. Here, 90. And this one, I believe, that's probably too big. We need to split into two. No, 67. Okay, so that is good. Kind of guesstimate. This is the lengthy part. It's proportionate. Okay. That's 72, about 80. Okay. 83. I want to have enough for my snout too, so there you go. So we really were dividing into 7 pieces. However, the 17, I'm sorry, 17. However, the 17th one doesn't have as much. The 17th one should have like a little less. It shouldn't be 80, 80. So this is good. And then this one, so it's just getting it balanced takes the longest, I think. This is 7, some of them. This is 78. That's close enough. That this is what takes me a long time, just to getting all these evenly done, distributed. This is 82, 72 actually. Let's see, which one is the big piece? So maybe I can just add to this one. So we can't get it everything exact because it just takes a long time. This one is the smallest, so I'm going to see if I can get this one to give this one a little bit. So let me eat. 7. Okay, so I think this is good enough. Let's just go from here. Okay, so I have a small little one that is that's going to be parts and pieces for the head, for the snout and the ears and stuff. This one is 48 grams. Okay, so I'm just going to put that aside, and all this is here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I think 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, we have 16 pieces. So what I do is I'm going to use this, and I'm going to divide all this into 16 little things. So again, I'm going to divide, same thing, double up, 2, 4, and then split in 2 again. Kind of gauge it, is guesstimating. And then split into 2, and that's 8. Split into 2. And then from that 2, we split into 2 again. So right now we have 16. You double up. So every one of these has a little baby one next to it. So this little baby dough will be your snout, your ear, and your ears. Okay. And let's see. So I'm making a little here, almost there, right here, and right here for this one. I think we got them all. Do we have one for everyone? Maybe this one for this one, this one for this one, this one. Okay. So now, for the most part, I think we're good. So with that, we're gonna start playing with one. Okay. You can see the dough, it's smoother on one end. So I'm going to play with my finger, just playing the dough a little bit, and now I'm going to stuff the meat in. Okay, make sure the meat are nice and dry. Hold on, I'm going to get a bowl. There is a lot of juice coming from the meat when I cooked it, so I have to make sure to remove it from the juice. That is something that That's a main reason. You can also cook the meat raw inside the bun if that works for you. However, it won't be as pretty. But I think it tastes better when it's integrated with the buns as well. But the only thing is that there's a lot of juice coming out from the buns. So let me see. I don't know. Can you see?
Yeah.
Do you want?
Uh,
So,
it's looking great. I just was saying we're running a little short on time. Maybe we could just
ooh,
do like one or two on camera, the actual
that's a good
film.
idea. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because it takes a while to separate them, but that's a good idea. I will do that. That's a
All
good.
right.
And
Great.
I made some
Looking good so
already.
far.
Hmm.
Looking good so far.
Thank you. But the process is a little kind of tedious, as you can see. Thank you, Josh. So I don't know if you can see the meat here. You want to make sure to have it. Ooh, here, let me see. I'm going to see if I can use the coolest one that's not too hot because a lot of them are still hot. Okay, this one right here, let me see if I can do the first one. Okay, so here we go. We're going to use this one just to do one because we're running low on time. Okay, you could do two things. You can spread that down onto the surface and roll it with a rolling pin to make it thinner if you like, or you can just do it like what I'm doing right here and just have them punch together and then you roll them like this. And you roll them into a ball. Okay, so there you go. So now with the little ball of dough, you can actually split again into three little pieces. Okay, three little dough. And with one being the biggest and two smaller ones, two smaller dough. Okay, the biggest one could be the snout. So this is what I'm using. See if we can see it right here. I'm going to put it right here and I pin it to find a place for the snout. And I use not chapstick, toothpick. And punch a hole right there into there. One to give it a snout. Because it's wet, you may not see the hole as well on the camera. Okay, and then I use the ear. You flatten the ear a little bit. And you flatten this on the other side. And then you use the little corn. Let me see. For the eyes. Can you see it, my little piggy? And then you do the same thing for all 16 of them. So you put them into the steamer, and that's where this is what you come up with. Actually, let me put it under the camera so you can see that. There you go. This is what it looks like once it's steamed. But you let that sit for half an hour to let it rise. You let the dough. So let me do one more. and then I'll answer some questions, and then we'll show you what it looks like individually by one. Okay, so same thing. I roll it into, we'll do one more so you can see. Okay, so you roll it and then you put it onto the little wax paper. You cut into little piece of wax paper and then you put it onto here. Okay, again, you split them to 3 little portions. Two for the ears and one for the snout. Okay, once you find the good place for the nose, you stick it in with a toothpick. Okay, that's for the nostril. And then you pinch a little bit, flatten up the ear. I don't know if you can see it. And then you put it onto. My dough is a little wet today. And I think it's also humidity. The humidity makes a difference as well. Okay, and then we put, I use the little peppercorn for the eye. And there we go, we got the little piggy. Okay, and then we put it into the little steamer and we steam it. So that's pretty much it on that part. And these already steamed, and you can re-steam them, or you can you can re-steam them, or you can microwave them. You can put them in the microwave and then have to eat them. So that's. Let me see if I missed any steps. What do you think? Did any questions?
I think
I
that
know.
was fantastic. I think they're absolutely adorable. Thank you so much for showing us that whole process. It's really really neat to see. I've eaten many bambao, but I don't think I've ever made them before. So maybe this is my chance to try it out.
Yeah, it's a little, little here and there, little details that you have to
Hmm.
deal with. But sometimes I get so used to it, I don't remember certain steps that somebody else may pay attention and they say, "What happened if you don't do this and do that?" So if you have anything that you see that I may miss a step that you didn't notice or something happened, let me know. I'm happy to answer. But
Yeah, and we also posted the recipe that you had in the comments. So if you guys want to make this at home, everyone in the audience, you can check out one of those links for the steam bun little piggies. We do have a question here about steaming them after the meat is made and when you're steaming the final process.
mhm.
About how long is that? How long do you steam the full bun for?
With the full bun, I usually the first time I'll do 20 minutes
Okay.
for the steaming because we want the buns to be cooked.
Hmm.
But first of all, I don't know if I mentioned when you finish with all the stuffing, you
Hmm.
want to let it sit, the dough sit for like half an hour, for 30 minutes to let the dough rise a little bit more. You don't have to cover it. You just leave it
Hmm.
and let it rise. And then after that, then you start steaming them.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And then once you steam them, about 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then after that, you can, if you can't eat it all in one seating, you can refrigerate it if
Yeah.
you don't have 16 people to eat all at one time.
Yeah.
But then you can refrigerate it. And then if you have a lot left and then you feel that the next it's good for 1 week.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't finish in 1 week's time, then you can freeze it and then microwave it when you heat it up again, or you can also re-steam it.
Awesome. Yeah, yeah, it looks like you actually answered our next question if you could freeze them after you did it. So, yeah, that's fantastic. As delicious as these are, I think it would be tough to eat 16, especially if there's only one or two people. But yeah, these would also, I think, be great for like a party or something like that, just to have out
Yes, yes.
a real pleaser. I want to get one more picture of this little piggy that we had that you sent in, because I think I'm in love with him. Um, so there's our finished product there. If you guys oh, yes, you can cook them completely and then, yeah, go into the freezer, right? The fridge or freezer.
Yep, cook
Okay.
them completely, and then you can wrap. Well, make sure to wrap them up and then
Okay.
put them in the freezer.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Do we have any more questions in the chat? Um, while we're doing that, I just wanted to thank you all for coming. And thank you, Ha, for putting on this great presentation. I'm excited to try this out. I think this would be a really fun one. And next time I can gather with a group of people in person, maybe this is the hors d'oeuvre or the thing I bring. I think there's some really cool things there.
Yeah,
So,
and actually, you can have this for breakfast. It's
mm,
a great breakfast because it has all the ingredients: sausage, eggs, and meat and stuff like
yeah.
that. So it's perfect breakfast ingredient or a snack in between meals.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's the perfect like after school snack or after work. You just come on in, pop one of those in either the steamer or the microwave, and you're good to go.
Yep.
Um, so people are asking about alternative stuffings. You mentioned at the beginning that you sometimes don't make them with meat, but what do you use instead of meat?
You can actually, I have some, I can post some stuff that you can have uh, instead of meat.
Hmm.
You can use mung beans, you can use beans, you can use tofu. You can use other. One thing that you can use is also jicama to give a little crunch to it. And in terms of, I think I put together a recipe, but I haven't tried it yet. I will share that with you on your listing, so that will help you for the vegetarian dish. Um, but on these, like I mentioned earlier, the ground meat, you can use ground instead of you can use ground turkey, or if you don't want to have pork, you can also take away the sausage. You can use turkey sausage, or they do in Asian store. They actually have faux meat that you can substitute.
Okay.
Um,
Awesome.
and mushrooms that you can do. They have certain mushrooms and stuff like that too. So
Excellent. Well, those are some great options. Definitely try those out at home. Let us know what you think. And I just wanted to thank you again, Ha, so much for coming out today and presenting with us.
yes, thank you. I'm sorry we don't have a lot of time, but this takes a little, takes a little longer. But if you can, it's a lot of fun and it's a great party pleaser.
I mean, I think we all agree that finished result there is absolutely worth it. How can you say no to that
Yeah,
face?
I know.
Um, well, thank you so much, Ha. I just wanted to say thank you also to the uh, the Institute of Museum and Library Sciences for providing us with these cameras here and everything like that. And thank you very, very much for coming out tonight. We appreciate it, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to be the first to find out when we have new fun and informative videos for you. Orange County Library System is your place to learn, grow, connect.